Good morning. My name is Bram Helianto from SBM ITB with student ID 293251119. Today, I am focusing on the oligopoly market between Gojek and Grab in Indonesia. This conflict matters because according to Can research about Indonesian ride-hailing market in Indonesia, these two firms control over 80% of market share in Indonesia. According to their research, this sector is rapidly transitioning from burning capital venture for market acquisition into a critical phase of achieving net profitability, making their strategic pricing is more volatile than ever. We have two strategies in mind. The first one is high subsidy strategies with purpose for market capitalization. And the second strategy is profit focus. Of course, this purpose is for business sustainability. The right question is when to shift to. When to shift from the high subsidy strategy into the profit focus strategy. Because company must check their strategy carefully enough when their market capitalization is already mature enough so they can generate future profitability. Because if their market is not mature enough, when they are shifting to profit focus strategy, the customer might shift from their company to the competitors. We will discuss about the game theory of the oligopoly market. Because this Grab and Gojek company have two strategies that might be support each other or even devour each other. Let's draw for a matrix. Let's say we have this graphic. The first one is for Gojek. And then the second one is for Grab. Okay, we divide them into 4 sections. The first one is profit focus. Profit focus. In this matrix, both Gojek and Grab focus on profit focus strategy. When they both implementing this strategy, their company might benefit from their market acquisition because there is healthy price competition that might support both Gojek and Grab's revenue. The second one is, let's say Gojek focus on profit focus, but Grab still focusing on high subsidy. This might create a gap between Gojek and Grab because in this scenario, if Gojek already focused on profit focus, Gojek might decrease its cashback or marketing or acquisition for the customer. While Grab still focusing on high subsidy, this might create that customers from Gojek might shifting from Grab because they want to pursue the subsidy from Grab, cashback, discount, etc. The same thing happen if Gojek is focusing on high subsidy, but Grab is focusing on profit focus. Okay, so the same thing will happen. The market or customer from Grab will shifting to Gojek company because Grab is already focusing on profit focus. They might decrease their spending on cashback, discount, etc. But Gojek still focusing on high subsidy, giving discount, cashback to the customer. So this create flow of the customers from Grab to Gojek. And the last one of our matrix is if they are focusing on high subsidy and high subsidy. For the initial stage of their company, this strategy might be considered okay because both the Grab and Gojek want to acquire as much as market share in Indonesia. But as our previous discussion stated that when is the right timing to shift from high subsidy strategies into profit focused strategy. Because if you keep your strategy in high subsidy, there might be not enough money to pursue for further market capitalization. Of course, their business strategy must shift to profit focus in order to generate revenue and profit for further business sustainability. This is the interesting part because when we are discussing about game theory, there will be no right timing, there will be no perfect information share between Grab and Gojek. So that's creating an information gap and trust. Let's say if both company focus on profit focus, let's say we give them score 10-10. They both will benefit from the profit that generates from the market that has been acquired. But if only one company shift from high subsidy to profit focus, this might generate gaps in the scores. Let's say for the Gojek already focus on profit focus and the Grab focus on high subsidy, this will create, let's say, score 2 and 14. 14 for Grab that focus on high subsidy because the market will shift from Gojek to Grab. The same thing happen if the Gojek still pursue for high subsidy strategy. Let's say the score will be 14 and 2 because the market will shift from Grab to Gojek. And last one is if the both company still focus on high subsidy strategy, the score might be significantly reduced, let's say from 10-10 into 4-4, because as we discussed earlier, there will be time where the both company do not have any further money for spending or market acquisition, as the shareholder might pressure them to generate revenue and profit because this is a very big investment for the shareholder. So if we have question, where is the next equilibrium? Of course, the next equilibrium will fall into the high subsidy strategy. Is next equilibrium optimal? Definitely not, because both company will suffer a long-term loss if they keep pursuing this strategy. So, where is the most optimal strategy for both company? Of course, we will focus on the profit focus versus profit focus. But to achieve this most optimal strategy, it's very difficult actually. Why? Because there's a prisoner's dilemma. Let's say if Gojek want to discuss with Grab, hey, don't pursue the high subsidy strategy because we will both suffer anyway. But can they trust each other? Let's say Gojek already stated, I want to shift from high subsidy strategy into the profit focus strategy. But at the same time, Grab also thinks the same. If we want to shift from high subsidy strategy and to profit focus strategy, but the question is, can they trust each other? If, let's say, one of them is betraying, and then the one company still focus on high subsidy, but the other company already decide want to shift to profit focus, we can see that the flow will shift, let's say, from Grab to Gojek higher than the optimal. This creates distrust between the competitors in oligopoly market. So that's my explanation about the oligopoly market in Indonesia, about Indonesian ride hailing. And we also have discussed about the game theory matrix, the next equilibrium, of course, the Pareto optimal. So in my conclusion, in order to achieve the Pareto optimal, the company must check the best strategies and collect as many information as possible. But of course, they still need to comply with the regulation because if both companies have their agreement together, they can control the price that can result to the monopoly regulation in Indonesia. That's my explanation about the oligopoly market, and thank you for your attention.